All right, guys, so today we're going to be reacting to after 7 years in Germany, this shocked me about the United States. I can see, man. I can see. I mean, again, we have to remind a lot of people from the United States the United States is not Europe. We're not Europe. We have European descent, but we're not Europe. A lot of people, when they go to Europe, they come back to the United States, they are shocked. Like, bro, you should be shocked. Also, when you go to these great nations, right, just accept the fact that you probably became a better person, and that's why it shocked you going back home. You should be using that energy to just be a better citizen. But let's see what this guy has to say. Let's jump in.
The States, and I am getting bombarded with reverse culture shock.
I am very uncomfortable going in here. Quite shocking to see.
This is where Americans come to get groceries. They put it all in one spot.
That's none of your business. Why would you ask me that?
We made it in.
All right, let's go. Let's go, man. Let's go.
This one, it drives me crazy.
This is a pepper, also known as a paprika. How much do you think this costs?
79 cents.
How expensive grocery prices are.
79 cents.
$1.50.
That's bullcrap.
Isn't that crazy?
Especially
$1.50 for that, bro? What kind of supermarket are you, man? $1.50 for a pepper? Man, I'm telling you, folks.
healthier food.
Basically twice the price that it is in Germany.
Fruits and vegetables are way higher priced here, at least in Oregon compared to in Germany.
And it's not just fruits and vegetables. Other staples, such as meat, eggs, and cheese, are more expensive as well.
Yeah, everything is very expensive. I was looking it up. Actually, you can compare a lot of the prices. Check out some of these price differentials.
There's a cost of living calculator where I compared tons of
Let me see. Tomato 112, 252, 1 pound. I don't know what
different items between Germany and Portland, Oregon. Tomatoes, 125.
Portland, Oregon. I knew it. I knew it, man. I knew it, bro. Portland, Oregon, man. Is that even the United States? My goodness, bro. It is the United States, but it's just Oregon. Thank God I live in Wisconsin.
2% more expensive. Apples, 130.2%. Oranges, 134.7% more expensive in Portland, Oregon than in Germany.
And you see why a lot of Americans are unhealthy, because it is so much cheaper to eat low quality or fast food here in the States. This is often why in the States poverty and obesity are related, just because it is so difficult.
I live in Wisconsin, man. There's so many big people over here, man. Me and my wife, we cannot even believe it. We cannot believe how big these people are over here, man.
People to eat healthily at a reasonable price. And I'm noticing this when we go grocery shopping here.
Behind me, we have a marijuana dispensary, a store where you can just go in and buy weed. It looks like a regular store, it looks like a coffee shop. Nice on the outside, and these are everywhere.
If you are 21 or older in my state of Oregon and a handful of other states, marijuana is totally legal not just for medical purposes, but for recreational as well.
In Germany, marijuana seems to be much more of a taboo subject, whereas in the States, it's much more open and much more accepted.
No, hold on. I'm in favor of not legalizing drugs, man. But I'm gonna keep my opinion on this, because this is the problem when it comes down to certain topics we cannot discuss here, man. These people, a lot of people want to have the cake and eat it too, man. Do you want to legalize it, or you want to be equal to Europe? You want to be equal to Portugal? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be more like Europe, so you want to legalize the marijuana. Well, now you're in Germany, you figure out, oh, Germany, they're not into this. Now you go back and you're like, oh, okay, maybe voting for this was not a good idea. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a problem that we have in the United States, folks. This is the problem. Like people don't really understand how a lot of these things work, man. Let me just keep it like that, man.
Crazy, because this big boom, especially the recreational side of it, kind of happened while I was over in Germany. So to come from a culture where it's a little more hush-hush taboo to a culture in Oregon where it is mainstream, it's all over the place and totally legal, is quite shocking.
You guys voted for that.
I mean, it's legal, right?
Totally legal.
Okay.
This one's kind of wild to me. people almost treat politics here like a sport. People will have bumper stickers of their favorite or preferred political candidate,
Damn,
or
that's
they'll
old.
have signs of their name in their yard, or even
Santi
flags of
2020.
their favorite political candidates. This is something that you do not see in Germany. I feel
different
like in
in the United
Germany,
States, bro.
people's political leanings are much more private for the most
Yeah.
part, or at least are not displayed like a sports team flag. It's like so funny. You'll
Yeah.
see, a bumper sticker with a political
Let's
candidate
go.
and then an NFL team.
Cardinals.
It's just like feels like it's a
Oregon
sport.
Cardinal.
Kind of wild
far
to
away.
see. This one is quite interesting, and it is shared by many Americans that I know that went over to Europe and now come back in the States, and also with Laura, is that for the first few days of coming back to the States, you feel just a little bit sick.
When I started eating American food, I got really sick, my tummy hurt, and then I started to get all bloated and had depression. That was from something else. But nonetheless, the food made me sick. So that was my reverse culture shock. Oop, gotta take this. Yep, go for my.
It's kind of like this low-grade nausea, and it happens to me almost every
Oh,
single
it
time.
makes sense. I mean, the water, the air over here. I mean, there's could be a lot of factors, right? That your body might going through a little changes, right? So if you live in Europe, you're probably in a different time zone. Your body's a little different, right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it might be that reason. It might be the food is just bad.
Time I come back to the States after being in Germany for a prolonged period. And my theory
And
is
other countries,
that
Argentina.
my body, having lived in Germany for
That's
many months at a
so
time, has
dangerous, man,
gotten
yeah.
used to not having all of these American chemicals
Yeah.
and preservatives and stuff in the food. And then when I come back to the States and start eating American food, my body is just shocked at the amount of chemicals and different things that we put in our food, and it has like a negative reaction to it.
Guys, I've got a bit of a problem. I'm back in the States right now, as you know, and I purchased NFL Game Pass International, but it does not work in the States. It's geo-blocked here.
Luckily, I've also got a solution. I just switched my IP address back to Germany, and then I could watch no problem. And that is
Yeah, this is the ad. Yep.
high school football game.
So excited.
Sunset! You got the face paint?
Having football, my football, American football, be the most popular sport. Obviously, in Germany, American football is a smaller sport, more of a niche sport. It is growing, but it is not popular like the way it is here in the States. We went to a high school football game, and it was so fun and cool to see just how football-centric American culture is. The whole community coming to this high school football game, little kids, the youth teams, all the way up to parents and grandparents, and seeing how football is just a very prominent and
American
important
stuff,
part
yeah.
of American culture. I love that. It is so fun. High school sports are great. Football is great. And it is very positively shocking for me to be back in that.
It's a different feeling, right? So I think in soccer, you have more like a war feeling. Like you're ready for war, right? Like, yeah, you're ready for war. You start throwing, fire and all that stuff. Like you ready for it. You know what I'm saying? And here, the football is hey, we are family, community. Hey, Jason from across the street, how you doing? It's a different kind of feeling. All right, I think that's what he's getting.
So picture this, is the first couple days that I'm back here in the States, I picked up Laura, we're about to head south on a little road trip. We stop at sort of this drive-through cafe, coffee shop place, and the cashier is so talkative and so friendly and asking, hey, so what are you guys up to today? And I actually froze for a second thinking, that's none of your business, why would you ask me that? Then I kind of realized again, okay, I'm back in the States, this is totally normal to have this small talk, friendly interaction with people.
Yeah.
Always like when you're paying by card or something and it takes a couple seconds, there's that kind of little moment, that's when oftentimes people will be like, so what are you doing today? It's just your classic American friendliness, but this does not happen in Germany at all. And so I was
Interesting.
really shocked when that happened to me during my first couple days back here in the States. Now I'm back used to it again. You guys know I love the pleasant American small talk. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But when you've been
It's
in
good,
Germany,
especially when you're in the elevator. You probably have to go to floor number 25. Both of you guys have to be, there for a couple minutes. But you still small talk like, hey, there's gonna be a long road. You know what I'm saying? Like they start doing like a small talk. That's nice. That's nice.
Germany for a long time and you've gotten used to more German interactions or lack thereof, some cashier that you don't know asking you, what are you up to today? Or
Yeah.
what are you up to this weekend? Felt a little invasive at first glance.
What you have here is a strip mall.
Okay?
You can tell their brother.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Not
Their brother, yeah, your brother.
that kind of strip. Strip mall, it's basically a mall where the stores open to the outside. There's a big parking lot here. There's so many strip malls in the United States. Basically, all of our stores and infrastructure is built around strip malls.
This is a bunch of stores on the
All
road.
together.
It's basically a big old parking lot because
Yep.
everything revolves around the car. Then you've got a bunch of stores lining the outside of the parking lot.
I always think about the German Fußgängerzone, or pedestrian areas, the shopping areas in Germany, and how much more pedestrian-oriented they are compared to the car-centric
Yeah.
American strip mall.
So I mentioned strip malls. We have one of those kind of close to our house. Maybe it's a kilometer away.
Well, I would just compare it more to, because in the one that you showed in Germany is more like a downtown feel to it, right? But in this case, it's more like an outlet. You have in the car, you're driving in the wrong road, and you see it. You see the outlet, and you just drive to it. I think that's make
And
more
Laura
sense.
and I have been very European. We've been walking down to the strip mall to the coffee shop. And during these walks, we kind of noticed basically how much of an afterthought pedestrians are. Like how long it takes for the light to turn green for the pedestrians compared to the cars.
Get a real sense of the car supremacy in the United States. The
lot of
pedestrian is a second-class citizen compared to drivers of cars.
It's also interesting that there's certain places on the road
That's
where I
true.
feel like in Germany, there would be crosswalks here, or the kind of like natural crossings for pedestrians. But at least in the area that I live, there are not crosswalks there. So we always have to jaywalk to get across the street.
We just crossed the street, but we had to wait a long time because there's no crosswalks and everything.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. There's a lot of space to have some crosswalks. So that's true. That's interesting.
There's more made for the cars.
This one's pretty sad, and it's just the amount of homeless people and tents everywhere, especially driving around the city on a lot
bro,
of
you're in
different
Portland, man.
intersections. There are
You're in Portland, bro. But what you expecting, man? I mean, I'm very, very surprised. And your city. Let me just be quiet. The city of Portland is one of the leading cities when it comes down to homelessness, and they're throwing so much money to the homeless problem that not even $1 trillion will solve it, because drugs are legal and they're very soft on crime. You can literally steal in Portland with no consequences. So I think over 7,000 stores closed in the last 10 years in that area. So you can imagine. That's the reason. I would not even move there. Why I would even move to Portland? And Portland and Seattle. Then Minneapolis is the next one. I used to live in Milwaukee. I got away from those places because it's just insane, man. Let me just be quiet, man, because
There are always homeless people with signs asking for money there, or groups of people, or a lot of tents off on the side of the road, and kind of like these little tent communities.
Portland,
It's very sad, and it's pretty shocking to see, especially after living in a small German town.
Okay, you came from Germany. Now you learn, right? You learn. So what do you do next? You went to Germany, beautiful country, beautiful people, great culture. What do you do now? That's the question, right? What do you do now when you experience that beautiful cultural environment, the culture? You as an American should say to yourself, okay, maybe these things don't work. Maybe these things are not the way to go. This is what I learned from Germany, and from there you move forward. You see? That's the question as an American you have to ask.
Town for so many years where this just does not really exist.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
How incomprehensibly large the United States is. I really noticed this with driving down to Yosemite with Laura the other week, and we're just driving for hours and hours and hours.
That's
and
beautiful.
Barely passing through another state. You know, it took like 7 hours to get through my state to the next state.
We are moving through Southern Oregon now, soon gonna cross into the Nevada border.
If you drive like that in Europe, you're going to be driving through 3 different countries with 3 different cultures and 3 different languages. Of course, yeah, we've got pretty populated cities, but the space in between there is
that's what I
wild
love.
to think
Yeah.
about. When we drove
Driving there, just listen for a podcast while you're driving 4 or 5 hours. I love that.
down to Yosemite, we went for an hour and a half without seeing another building or a gas station. It actually got kind of scary. We were worried that we were going to get stranded in the middle of nowhere. All right, guys, that's all for today. I want to give a shout out again to the sponsor of today's video.
Hey, shout out to him, man. Hey, go to his channel, support him. Yeah, man, this is where a lot of Americans, they make the mistake. I traveled to Europe, and I got experience from Europe, and I brought it to the States, and I said, you know what, let me just get what was best on that experience and just become a better American, right? But a lot of Americans that go down to the Europe, they don't get it, man. Like, it's like they don't get why Europe is the way it is. Like, they really don't get it. Europe has a very strong sense of culture. People don't understand that. People just simply don't understand that. All of a sudden, you're in Germany, and he's from Portland, which is a very liberal city. I'm talking about so liberal that even the most liberal people in Europe would not even be close. And he noticed that they're still conservative in some things, right? But that means that, it's okay to have some freedoms, right? But you have to be, you have to be careful with that freedom. So you go back to Portland. I'm shocked you didn't have that much of a shock coming back to Portland, because I'm telling you, folks, Portland is just a wasted city. Pennsylvania, PA, Kensington, right? Bad area. And I can just go on and on. Austin, Minneapolis, Seattle, Los Angeles. I mean, Boston is the next one. My goodness. Atlanta, all these places, you have people traveling, but when they go to Europe, they see this beautiful place where they have very strong cultures, and they don't understand why Europe is the way it is. They do not understand it, and they come back to the States, and they don't know how to put the piece together. Well, maybe you have to just, instead of just drinking your cappuccino, you should just sit down and understand. How can you bring some of this thing back to your own country and just learn from it? That's the most important part, all right? And that's where a lot of Americans, they miss the point. They go to these great places, and they don't understand the importance of culture. Culture and conservatism, because these places, they hold thousands of years of culture, and they have already that sense of conservatism with them, right? That make their country so unique, even with their own restraints, but they still move forward, right? And Germany is one of those cases, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I might be just talking too much out of my budugu, but you guys will go and let me know in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.